Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Office Bloke Aidan.
Here we are, Office Bloke Daz Sports Edition. Sports is your thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Getting on it with plenty of stuff coming up. A lot of baseball, a lot of college football, a lot of NFL, all coming up in the coming weeks. We're actually heading over to the USA in November, and we are going to be taking in a college football game.
Yep.
But we've not bought tickets yet.
No.
So we've not decided yet. Is 100%. I know we're leaving it late. I know we are, but with all the issues going on around the world, we're just sort of like making sure that we're going to be. It's going to be cool to go and all that kind of stuff. Should be.
I'm sure it
but,
will.
You know, it's we just saw a few things to sort out here as well, haven't we? So this is the 10 biggest college football stadiums of 2023. Now I know we've touched on college football stadiums before, but I'm not sure if there's any new ones opened.
That's what I was going to say.
Been expanded or anything like that. But
or
something
been like in progress for a while and they're now finished.
These college stadiums are just immense, aren't they? And I think when we do go to a game, if we can try and get time into a game, one of the games I did look at was Alabama against Auburn, but the cheapest ticket I can find so far was like $680 each. Jesus. It was like somewhere right at the top of that picture there.
Yeah.
You know, so although we're going to experience it, you might be far away, which I'm not too bothered about as long as we're in the ground and experiencing the stadium and the tailgating and everything that goes with it. So if anyone's got any suggestions on which games to go to, and they're not crazy money, but it's a big big rivalry type thing, that'd be good to go to, won't it?
100%.
So here we go. Anyway, 10 biggest college football stadiums of 2023. We're going to be impressed with this, aren't we?
Oh yeah,
because we love this shit, don't we?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the top 10 biggest college football stadiums. This is fully updated, yes, for 2023. I'm going to be going from number 10 to number 1 based off of their listed capacity. And we're also going to be talking about the stadiums now, just kind of as an overview for this video. All of these stadiums have roughly the same history. They were built in the early to mid 1900s. They experienced several seating expansions, and now they've all gone through some type of modern...
That's one of them grounds, like, it doesn't look that big, but, like, you can hold so many people in it.
I think a lot of it's like, I don't know if someone's going to have to let us know on this, a lot of it could be like bench seating. Like when we go to a game over here, we're in our seats.
Like
it's our seat. You got armrest, you know. We're in the padded seats. We've got the nice padded seats where we sit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm guessing a lot of this could be just bench seating.
And the thing about this as well, it's like, you could make that so much bigger as well. Because it's like it's not like... It goes like very gradual, you know what I mean?
You could put a tier all the way around that's going up like that. That'd be mint. Look at the size of that though.
Modernization process as the schools try to keep them up to par. But we're going to be kicking it off with number 10. And it's funny enough, this is probably the only one that hasn't been, invested into. It is the Cotton Bowl. So this is where the neutral site Texas-Oklahoma rivalry game is always played. The 11 a.m. Central start time. I think that game's normally early October.
So this stadium is designated to one game of football?
I don't know if it's designated to one game of football. I can't see it just being that for one game.
I mean, obviously that happens
it does
a lot.
Host that. It does host that, but I imagine it hosts all kinds of games. Where did he say it was? Go back.
It was for the Texas-Oklahoma, right?
I think, is it right on the border of Texas and Oklahoma? It's like in the middle sort of thing. I'm not sure which state it's in, but you might tell us in here. But Cotton Bowl, it can't just be for that one game, surely.
Well, obviously it can host like concerts and stuff, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be all kinds of stuff.
11 a.m. Central start time. I think that game's normally early October.
You can't have a 92,000
the capacity
stadium
currently is just above 92,000, so it is the 10th biggest college football stadium owned by the city of Dallas, and they currently do have natural grass. Its record attendance was 96K. That happened a few different times, but yes, the Cotton Bowl has gone through several different expansions, although it really is a crappy stadium, and I feel fine saying that. And it's very easy to see why, because it doesn't really have a tenant. No one has really invested a lot of money into stadium upkeep and really making it a modern venue. So the Cotton Bowl, because it doesn't have that tenant, it doesn't have that team that's going to have to, renovate it. It really does look old, and it's just two giant ovals of seating, and that creates its capacity at 92K. If there was a situation where, let's say, some team used the Cotton Bowl as their home stadium, it would have to be renovated. There's no doubt about it. But because it normally just hosts one big game every single year, that is why the stadium is in its current condition. At number 9 for biggest capacity, it is Sanford Stadium, home of the Georgia Bulldogs. Capacity right under 93K currently since 2004, and they have...
They're the best team right at now. Like
Georgia Bulldogs.
Meant to be the best, aren't they?
And they won it for the last 2 years.
Have they?
Georgia.
a record attendance in that non-conference home-and-home series with Notre Dame back in 2019. The stadium does have natural Bermuda grass, and taking a look at it, you can see the extra little mini upper deck that was installed to Georgia. Kind of the unique thing about the stadium, very rarely will you see a college football stadium with actually 3 different decks of seating. That's what Georgia has, and they've gone through several different renovations, and they're planning to do another renovation that really won't change much of the stadium. What it's going to do is it's going to alleviate the concourses. It's going to open them up, kind of something a lot of modern stadiums are getting now, especially these older college football ones. They were built in the mid-1900s, and now they're need to be changed and upgraded to the current standard. So Sanford Stadium there. The next one, it is Bryant-Denny Stadium. Currently with a capacity just above 100,000, and that's the golden number for stadiums now. If you have a capacity above 100K, you are virtually a blue blood. That's kind of like the fun little number that teams try and hit. But their record attendance was just over 101K. They have gone through tons of different expansions. You can see it is interesting. In 2010, they expanded to almost 102K, and then they brought it back down. That's another thing you won't see very often, teams bringing it back down, but we've seen it a few different times where they will expand the premium seating, and they'll also open up the stadium and kind of give it some room to breathe. So Alabama removed almost 2,000 total seats to their stadium capacity. That happened in between 2019 and 2020. But Bryant-Denny Stadium, I'm not going to say it looks like an NFL stadium, but it does kind of give off that vibe a little bit. Certainly very legendary, very nice. And Bama football obviously does have an amazing home field advantage. They've also done several different exterior renovations. That's another thing with a lot of these stadiums. They all have to get exterior renovations because there's just nothing there. There's nothing to them. If they're built in the 1920s, the 1930s, they add on seating, and it's like they do nothing to the exterior of the stadium. A lot of them have gotten exterior brick renovations and things like that. At number 7, it is Texas Memorial Stadium. They also are just above 100K in terms of attendance, but their record attendance was 105K. That recently happened last year during the game against
Do you know what I like about the college stadiums, and I can't remember if the NFL, I'm pretty sure the NFL stadiums are the same, is the massive screens they have.
Yeah.
You know, we go to some stadiums over here, mentioning a couple. One is Liverpool, Anfield.
Doesn't have one,
and neither does Old Trafford. United Stadium, you don't have a screen in the ground. All you have is a tiny little scoreboard that tells you the score.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times over here as well, they don't show replays on the big screens.
No.
So when you're at the game, if it happens so fast, or you turn around to talk to someone and something happens, you miss it. There's no replay on the big screen. You have to wait to the.
I know. And when you see like go back inside like in NFL when they've got like when the refs reviewing the play, do they not play it on like the big screen in the stadium?
Yeah. Same as rugby.
Exactly.
When you watch rugby, you play it on the big screen in the stadium.
Football, you've literally got the
kind of like, to me, it hides a little bit of corruption sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's but that's that. I love that. Look at the size of that screen.
I know.
Size of the end.
Yeah, literally.
Alabama, where they nearly lost. Now it's funny because they just beat Alabama on the road, but they did undergo a big time renovation to their end zone, and they've been adding on seating several times since the late 90s, and now they've finally gotten over the 100K benchmark. You can see all of their record attendance coming very recently, 2022, 2022, 2018, 2022. That signals that they've been adding seats and going through these different renovations. So they come in at number 7 in terms of the biggest stadiums in college football. And I believe on this list, they've probably been the most recent stadium to receive a big-time renovation. They've got that massive wall of upper deck seating. Kind of an interesting design behind the one end zone. You've got a very cut-off section of seating as well. At number 6, it is Neyland Stadium. This is another stadium that just went through a renovation. It didn't change it too much. You could take a look at the capacity sitting right under 102K. The record attendance almost 110K back in 2004. And Neyland Stadium, again, did get a recent renovation where they removed a few of the upper deck seatings to put in social spaces, but I believe the capacity has been kept the same. Cool. They've just kind of exchanged the seating in the upper deck for a social area, so you'll get like more fans to the games. You don't really have a ticket. It's more of just a standing room type deal. Neyland Stadium, very impressive in terms of its home atmosphere. It is fully enclosed, which for a college stadium, especially if they can sell it out, that's a really good thing because that creates a very intimidating atmosphere. And also the other thing they were doing during their renovation, adding some nicer seats right behind the benches, kind of more of an NFL feel there, but it comes in at number 6. At number 5, it is Tiger Stadium. So Tiger Stadium,
look at that, man.
Very similar in terms of their capacity, right around 102K. The interesting thing with, well, I guess look at the concert. You can get 127K, and because you can go on the field. But the interesting thing with Tiger Stadium is their attendance is just capped at 102K because you look at all of their largest crowds. Unlike basically every other team on this list where they'll have a capacity of like 104K, but maybe they'll fit with standing room 105, 106. With LSU, that's not how it works at all. That is their entire attendance capped at a little over 102K. We all know Tiger Stadium. It's considered by a lot of people to be the best stadium in college football. It is beautiful, and it comes in at number 5 on the biggest stadiums. At number 4, it is Kyle Field. So Kyle Field currently has a capacity right under 103K. Its record attendance was also...
It's just mad to me how many stadiums are at 100,000 seats.
I know. How many do we have in this country that's over, say...
60,000.
60,000, yes. We have a couple that are over 60. We have Wembley.
We've got Tottenham Hotspur, you've got Old Trafford. You've
City.
got City's 55.
I thought it was 62 now. Oh, I thought it increased to 62. What about...
It's actually 54, 9
what's Newcastle?
50 something as
50
well,
something.
52 I think. But West Ham, 60,000.
Yeah.
Arsenal 60,000.
Yeah. Probably...
That's probably it, right?
Twickenham, if you go into rugby.
Yeah.
Don't know how many Twickenham holds, I'm not sure.
That's actually probably about it, though. That's more than 60,000.
You've got some ones in Wales as well. I think Cardiff Arms Park, whatever it's called now. Principality Stadium, whatever it's called now, yeah.
110K back in 2014 against Ole Miss. Kyle Field had the massive seating
any of these stadiums
back
would easily be the biggest.
2014 when they did make the move to the SEC, and it's just walls and walls of seating. I mean, Kyle Field, in terms of their seating, if you look right behind the end zones, it's just 2 giant walls, and then they even have some significant upper deck seating as well. Also, they've got a beautiful brick exterior. So Kyle Field comes in at number 4.
I like all the flags
at
at the
number
top
3, it is Ohio Stadium. The current capacity just under 103K. The record attendance was 110,000 back.
If you're stood there on the outside, it doesn't even look like a stadium at the bottom of the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, I like stadiums.
It looks like you're going into an embassy or something.
Yeah, the Coliseum in Rome.
Yeah.
In the rivalry game against Michigan, so Ohio State actually had a higher capacity a few years ago when it was about 104K, but they also decreased capacity a little bit to make way for some luxury areas, some premium seating, and they've brought their capacity back down to just under 103K. So I don't think they'll be breaking any type of attendance record, even though you could probably get about 107 or 108K with standing room into Ohio Stadium. They have expanded several times. The most recent big-time expansion that they had, I believe, was when they expanded the student section right around 2007. But there is that. And the number 2 biggest stadium in college football, it is Beaver Stadium, with a current capacity right around 106,000 people since 2011. The record attendance just under 111K. Beaver Stadium, it was announced earlier this summer that they're getting a $700 million stadium renovation, and it'll be interesting to see what happens because if you spend almost $1 billion on a college football stadium, they're saying it's a renovation. It might be a rebuild. We don't know, but I would imagine.
What we're saying number one's going to be
$1 billion for $1 billion on a stadium. Spurs Stadium is $1 billion.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And it's proper state of the art when you go inside. It's really state of the art.
It's not even just big. It's like modern and
it's very modern. It's a really nice stadium. Wembley's a nice stadium as well, though. But that's for $1 million, $1 billion. Sorry, you should be getting probably a full rebuild, and it would be state of the art, 100,000 plus seat stadium.
What's number 1 then?
Michigan.
That's what I was gonna say, because if it was on top 10, surely it's.
What was the first one? What was number 10 though? Wasn't that Michigan? I'm going Michigan anyway.
No, I don't think Michigan was number 10.
I think Michigan's number 1. No, number 10 was the one they share.
The
Oklahoma and the Cotton Bowl. I'm thinking Michigan.
I think
they would bring the capacity down by about 2,000. So it's still going to be well over 100K, but I do think the capacity is going to move slightly down.
Because you know about Michigan getting 100K as well, so it's got to be. Because there was one with 92.
I think Michigan's big, like 110 something.
I think it's about 107.
And they're going to get an entire new exterior because it is very old. But Beaver Stadium, unbelievable home field atmosphere, especially with the whiteout tradition there. And then the biggest stadium in college football, it is still Michigan Stadium. Yeah. It's been Michigan Stadium forever. They've got the giant bowl of seating. Michigan Stadium currently, honestly, barely beating out Beaver Stadium. They're also sitting at 107K. They have a record attendance, though, of 115,000 in a 2013 game against Notre Dame. And realistically, when you look at Michigan Stadium and the way it's designed, it's built into the ground. They could very easily put like another deck of seating, a smaller upper deck, and expand.
Yeah, look at how small it probably looks from the outside.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It looks like a tiny little stadium from the outside of that.
It looks like, when you go to like a drive-in or what's it from when you come up to the side? It looks like a garage sort of area.
Yeah. That's crazy how it's built into the ground.
They could very easily put like another deck of seating, a smaller upper deck, and expand the capacity if they want. There's really no point in doing that, considering, last year their student section, some of the games they struggled to even draw. So there's really no reason to expand it any more than what it already is. But I'm just saying, if they wanted to, they honestly could. It's just kind of an interesting design. It's one giant lower bowl. There is no upper deck to it. There's just like an upper section, and then you do have all the suites. And I'm
actually fascinated by the way it's built into the ground.
Stadium. They built the giant lower bowl, and then the renovations, the modernization of it's been expanding the suites and the luxury seating over top of that, which is really like ground level going up. It's kind of an interesting stadium design. But those are the top 10 college football stadiums.
Like, you hear a lot about stadiums being built into the floor, but you don't see it as clearly as that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm going to let you into a secret here. You might not know, but City Stadium's built into the ground.
Yeah, but it's not as clear as that.
It's not as that. No, when you drive up to it, it's a big stadium.
It's massive,
big stadium that goes up. But
don't get me wrong. It probably looks if you're on either side of the.
Yeah, it looks like a massive stadium. Yeah, but from the outside, like you say, if you're stood there, it's like you just see that. You're normally used to seeing like these big stadia, sort of like pylons and all kinds of stuff, aren't you?
You would expect it to be a lot smaller if you stood like right outside,
especially on this side.
The blue thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mint all that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to let us know if anyone's got any recommendations. We are heading down the south area. We think. Don't know, but I just found out.
You need to make your mind up.
I know. Well, do you know what it was? I was looking at flights the other day, and I couldn't get a flight into Nashville direct. They stop it in November. It's the last one.
Where would you have to start?
To Atlanta, which wouldn't be a problem, sort of thing. But then Atlanta to Auburn.
Why don't we just go to Atlanta?
Yeah.
And then just drive.
Yeah. That's it. So it's.
I'll drive.
But if anyone's got any suggestions as well, we're always open to suggestions. Like I say, we've not booked anything yet, but we will be booking any day now. When I can get my arse in gear.
Any day.
I've got a million things to do, and that's one of them. Anyway, but I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.